Welcome to Love Lies Chronicles.
I'd love to know what you think. Every comment helps me make the next story better. Subscribe to stay tuned. 2 Saturdays ago, I was sitting in my home office when I overheard a conversation that would change everything. My wife Claire was on a video call with her 3 friends in the living room. I got up to grab coffee and froze in the hallway when I heard my name. It's called the roommate reset, Melissa was saying. You treat him exactly like a roommate for 30 days. No affection, no special treatment, just basic cohabitation courtesy. Whitney chimed in. My sister's therapist recommended it. It shows you what your marriage really is without all the emotional labor women provide. And if he doesn't notice? That was Paige. Then you know he was just using you for wife services. Cooking, cleaning, emotional support. All of it stops. Claire's voice came through, uncertain. But what if he gets upset? Then he proves he only values you for what you do, not who you are, Melissa said. Either way, you get clarity. The group did this, Whitney added. Every single woman said it changed their marriage. The men either stepped up or they realized they needed to leave. 30 days seems like a long time, Claire said. That's the point. Long enough to see real patterns. You start Monday? I heard Claire sigh. I guess I start Monday. I backed away quietly and returned to my office. My hands were shaking. We'd been married for 4 years, together for 6. Sure, things had gotten comfortable, maybe even routine. But an experiment? A test? I sat at my desk and made a decision. If Claire wanted to treat me like a roommate, I'd show her exactly what that looked like. I don't play games. I don't do tests. But I do teach lessons. Monday morning arrived. I acted completely normal at breakfast. Claire was nervous, fidgeting with her coffee mug. Then came the first sign. She didn't kiss me goodbye before work. Just a quick see you tonight, and out the door. I noted it, but said nothing. That evening, I came home to find Claire in the kitchen. She'd made dinner, but only 1 plate. Oh, I didn't know when you'd be home, she said. There's stuff in the fridge if you want to make something. No problem, I replied. Roommates usually handle their own meals anyway. She blinked. I could see the word roommates caught her off guard. But she said nothing. I made a sandwich, took it to the living room, and read while I ate. No conversation. No asking about her day. Claire kept glancing at me, clearly expecting some kind of reaction. Tuesday and Wednesday followed the same pattern. Claire continued her experiment. No affection, minimal conversation, separate everything. And I mirrored her behavior exactly. I did my own laundry, removing my clothes from the hamper where they'd always been mixed with hers. I stopped asking about her day. I came home, made my own dinner, and went to separate spaces. She'd be on the couch. I'd be in the office or bedroom. The physical distance grew with each passing day. Thursday night, Claire tried to initiate conversation about weekend plans. I've got plans Saturday afternoon, I said. You? What plans? Just meeting up with some friends. Roommates don't usually coordinate social calendars. She went silent. I could see the hurt in her eyes. But I returned to my book. Friday marked the end of week 1. Claire's phone kept lighting up with texts from her friends. She seemed stressed, less confident in her experiment. That afternoon, I went to the gym alone. I usually went with Claire on Friday evenings, but roommates don't have shared workout schedules. As I ran on the treadmill, I watched a couple across the room. They were spotting each other, laughing between sets. The easy affection between them made my chest tight. Was I being too harsh? Was I proving her friends right by showing no emotion? No. I'd shown emotion for 4 years. I'd shown love, commitment, partnership. She chose to ignore all of that to run an experiment. This wasn't about being harsh. This was about having self-respect. I increased the speed on the treadmill until my legs burned and my lungs ached. Physical pain I could handle. It was straightforward. It made sense. Unlike whatever was happening in my marriage. When I got home that evening, Claire was in the kitchen. She'd made pasta. The smell filled the house, reminding me of date nights and lazy Sundays. There's extra if you want some, she said quietly. I looked at the pot on the stove. It would be so easy to say yes. To sit down together. To pretend everything was normal. Thanks, but I'm good, I said. I'll make something later. I saw her shoulders sag as I walked to the bedroom. That night, I started researching apartments in the Belltown neighborhood. If she wanted a roommate, she didn't need a 2-bedroom house. And roommates can move out with 30 days notice. Saturday, I went to Cary Park with college friends. I didn't tell Claire where I was going or when I'd return. I got home around 10 that night. She was waiting up. Where were you? Out with friends. Did you need something? You didn't tell me you'd be gone all day. Roommates don't generally report their whereabouts. Is there a house issue we need to discuss? She stammered, but couldn't explain why she was upset without breaking her own experiment. Sunday, I meal prepped for the week. Only my portions. I used a separate shelf in the refrigerator and labeled my food with my name. Claire watched in disbelief. Are you seriously labeling your food? Just being considerate. Roommates should keep their groceries separate to avoid confusion. I went grocery shopping alone that afternoon. Bought only my items. When I got home, I split the joint purchases down the middle on the receipt and left her half on the counter. Monday evening, day 8, I presented Claire with a document. Household responsibilities chart. It said at the top. I divided every chore 50-50 with a schedule. Bills breakdown, cleaning rotation, quiet hours. She stared at it in shock. What is this? Roommate agreement. Most cohabitation arrangements have one. I thought we should formalize our living situation. We're married, are we? Because for the past 8 days, we've been functioning as roommates. I'm just making it official. The agreement listed specific changes. Separate bathroom schedules. Divided refrigerator and pantry space. Rotating cleaning duties with a checklist. No shared streaming accounts. Quiet hours after 9. Guest policy requiring 24-hour notice. Tuesday, day 9, I actually implemented the agreement. I used the bathroom on my scheduled time and knocked when it was hers. I washed only my dishes immediately after use. I didn't touch her mess in the living room. Claire kept trying to have conversations. I kept responses minimal, polite, distant. How was work, she'd ask. Fine, thanks. Want to watch something tonight? I have plans in my room, but you enjoy. Wednesday, day 10, Claire had her friends over for dinner. She'd mentioned it per the guest policy. I came home, nodded politely to them, made my dinner, and took it to my office. I could hear them talking in the living room. How's the experiment going? Melissa asked. He's treating me like an actual roommate, Claire said, frustration clear in her voice. That's impossible, Whitney said. Men can't last 2 weeks without physical affection. He's not asking for anything. He's not complaining. He's just distant. That's weird. Maybe he's not noticing. Paige offered. He's noticing. He made a roommate agreement. Silence fell over the group. Give it more time, Melissa finally said. He'll crack soon. Thursday, day 11, I started apartment hunting online. I didn't hide it. My laptop was visible in the living room when Claire walked by. What are you looking at, she asked. Apartments in Belltown. Found some nice one-bedrooms. Her face went pale. Why are you looking at apartments? Roommate situations are usually temporary. I'm planning ahead. Planning ahead for what? For when one of us moves out. Most people don't live with the same roommate forever. You're thinking about moving out? I'm thinking about options. That's what people in temporary living situations do. Friday, day 12, I scheduled an apartment viewing for Sunday. I confirmed it via phone call Claire could overhear. Yes, I'm looking for a lease starting next month. 1 bedroom, preferably near Pike Place Market. Claire was pacing. Her phone buzzed constantly. That evening, she tried to break the ice. Want to order pizza? Like we used to? I already ate. But go ahead. We could watch that show we've been following. Actually, I canceled the streaming service. It's in your name, so you'll need to resubscribe if you want it. She looked devastated. Saturday, day 13, I did laundry. Only my clothes. Then I went to the gym for 3 hours. Stopped by a bookstore in the University District. Had coffee at Storyville Coffee and read alone. I didn't return until evening. Claire had been home all day, clearly waiting for me. She tried to initiate conversation multiple times. Where were you? Running errands. All day. Is there something you needed? She couldn't answer without admitting she missed me. Sunday, day 14, I actually went to the apartment viewing. Took photos. Discussed lease terms. I returned home around 2. Claire was on me immediately. How was the apartment? Good. Nice view of the Sound. About 900 square feet. Are you seriously considering moving? The lease would start December 1st. That gives us appropriate notice per roommate standards. Appropriate notice? Andrew, we're married. Then why have we been living like roommates for 2 weeks? She opened her mouth, closed it. She had no answer. That's what I thought, I said. Monday morning, day 15, I woke up before Claire. I'd already packed essentials over the weekend in a gym bag. I packed 2 large suitcases with clothes, toiletries, and my laptop. Left them by the front door. I made coffee and breakfast. Only for myself. Claire came out and saw the suitcases. Panic flooded her face. What are those? I'm staying at a hotel for a while. What? Why? This living situation isn't working for me anymore. What living situation? We're married. Are we? Because for 15 days, you've treated me like a stranger who happens to share your living space. I was just trying something. An experiment. I know. I heard you and your friends planning it 2 Saturdays ago. The color drained from her face. You knew? This whole time? Every single day? And I decided to show you exactly what you asked for. What it's like to actually live with a roommate instead of a husband. Claire started crying. I was just confused. They said it would help. They said it would help you see if I only valued you for what you do. Well, congratulations. You found out what happens when you treat your husband like a test subject. I picked up my philosophy where it mattered most. Here's what your friends don't understand about me. We don't play games. We don't do tests. We don't dance for approval. When you started treating me like a roommate, you weren't conducting an experiment on me. You were making a choice about what kind of relationship we have. And I made my choice too. I chose to respect that choice. You wanted a roommate? I gave you a roommate. But here's the thing about roommates. They don't owe each other emotional support. They don't owe each other companionship. They don't owe each other their future. And they can move out whenever they want. I pulled a folded paper from my pocket and placed it on the kitchen counter. What's that? Claire whispered. My notice. Roommates give notice when they move out. I opened it and read aloud. Experiment successful. Roommates don't owe each other explanations. You wanted to know what you have without the marriage. Now you know. You have a roommate who's moving out. I picked up my suitcases and walked toward the door. Claire followed, begging. Please don't go. Please, can we talk about this? We've had 15 days to talk. You chose silence. Where are you going? The Edgewater Hotel. I booked a room for the week. A week? Then what? Then I decide if I want the apartment in Belltown or if I want to come home to a wife instead of a roommate conducting experiments on me. I walked out and closed the door gently behind me. Day 16 started early. By 8:47, my phone was ringing. Claire. I let it go to voicemail. Andrew, please call me back. We need to talk. I'm so sorry. This was a mistake. Please. By noon, I had 3 more missed calls. Then the text started. I know you're angry. You have every right to be. I should never have listened to them. Please just tell me you're okay. I miss you. I didn't respond to any of them. That evening, I was having dinner alone at the hotel restaurant when my phone rang again. This time I answered. Yes. Why aren't you answering my calls? Claire was crying. Roommates don't typically check in with each other. I thought we were clear on the living arrangement. Please stop saying that. I know I messed up. You didn't mess up. You made a deliberate choice for 15 days straight. Every morning you woke up and chose to continue the experiment. It wasn't supposed to go like this. How was it supposed to go? I'd break down and beg for your affection? I'd prove I only value you for cooking and cleaning by demanding you do those things? No. They said you'd notice and we'd talk about it. I noticed. And we did talk about it. Through your actions. You wanted me to feel what it's like to be unvalued. Congratulations. Message received. I hung up. By evening, I'd received 7 more calls. I turned my phone on silent and went to the hotel gym. I ran until my legs felt like rubber and my shirt was soaked with sweat. When I got back to my room, I had 23 missed calls. I ordered room service and ate alone while watching the lights of Seattle shimmer across the water. The Edgewater Hotel had been a splurge, but I needed space that felt different. Not home. Not tied to memories. My phone buzzed with a text from Greg. Heard from Claire's mom. You okay? Surviving, I typed back. Want company? Not yet. Need to think. Call if you change your mind. I appreciated Greg. He didn't push. Didn't take sides. Just offered presence without pressure. Another text came through. Claire, I can't do this. Please talk to me. I stared at the message. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard. What could I say that would matter? Nothing. Because words were easy. She'd said her vows 4 years ago. Those were words too. It was the actions that told the truth. I set the phone face down on the nightstand and stared at the ceiling until sleep came. Day 17 brought 15 missed calls overnight. The texts kept coming. I can't sleep. The house feels empty. I realize now what I had. Please come home. I'll do anything to fix this. Then one text from Melissa. Somehow she'd gotten my number. Claire is devastated. You're being cruel. I blocked her number. That afternoon, Claire tried a video call. I let it ring out. She called again. And again. Finally, I answered. What is it, Claire? On screen, she looked terrible. Red eyes, messy hair. I need to see you. Face to face. Why? Because I need you to see how sorry I am. Sorry that you did it, or sorry that it didn't work out the way you planned. Sorry that I hurt you. Sorry that I let them convince me to play games with our marriage. Your friends didn't force you to do anything. You made every choice. I know. You're right. This is all on me. I'm glad you're finally taking responsibility, but I'm not ready to see you yet. I ended the call. That evening, I got a voicemail from Claire's mother. We'd always been close. Andrew, honey, Claire told me what happened. I'm not calling to take sides, but she's really struggling. When you're ready, I hope you two can talk. I respected her too much not to consider it, but I still wasn't ready. Day 18 brought an email. Subject line, please read this. It was long. Claire detailed her regrets. She admitted she felt taken for granted, but realized she never communicated it. She said her friends made it sound empowering, but it was manipulative. She explained she felt lost and confused about why she wasn't happy. She acknowledged she destroyed something good by testing it. She asked for a chance to prove she'd learned. She said she'd cut off all 3 friends. She begged me to come home. I read it twice. Didn't respond immediately. That afternoon, I walked along the Alaskan Way waterfront. I thought about our marriage before the experiment. There were some real issues. We'd both gotten complacent. But her solution was betrayal, not communication. Could I trust her again? Could I live with someone who would test me instead of talk to me? That evening, I called my best friend Greg. Do you still love her? He asked. Yes, but I don't know if love is enough when trust is broken. What would it take to rebuild that trust? I thought about it. Complete honesty. No more friends in her ear. And time. Day 19, Friday morning, I received an Instagram message from Whitney. You need to check on your wife. She's falling apart. Whose fault is that? I typed back. We were trying to help her. By convincing her to sabotage her marriage, we were helping her see her worth. By making her lie to her husband for 30 days? That's help? I found the original article online. The exact roommate reset plan they'd used. I screenshotted it and sent it to Whitney. This is what you had her follow. A social media experiment designed to manufacture crisis in stable relationships. It's a legitimate therapeutic technique. No, it's manipulation disguised as therapy. And you convinced my wife to risk her marriage for your entertainment. That's not fair. What's not fair is you 3 using Claire's insecurity as an excuse to play puppet master with our marriage. Whitney added me to a group chat with her, Melissa, and Paige. How dare you blame us for your failing marriage? Melissa typed. My marriage was fine until you 3 convinced my wife to conduct a psychological experiment on me. We didn't force her to do anything, Paige wrote. No, you just presented it as empowerment while knowing it would create conflict. Tell me, do any of you actually have successful marriages? Silence. That's what I thought. Melissa, you're divorced. Whitney, you've been taking a break from your husband for 6 months. Paige, you're not even married. But somehow you're all experts on my marriage? Our relationship status doesn't invalidate our advice, Melissa responded. Your advice nearly destroyed a good marriage. A marriage where 2 people loved each other but got lazy about showing it. Instead of helping Claire communicate with me, you turned our relationship into a game. You want to know the worst part? I would have listened. If Claire had come to me and said, I feel taken for granted, I would have heard her. We would have worked on it together. But instead, you convinced her that testing me was better than trusting me. That manipulation was better than conversation. And now she's paying the price for your toxic advice. I blocked all 3 of them. Later that day, I was at a coffee shop near the hotel when I ran into an old colleague, Patricia. She worked in marketing, and we'd collaborated on a project 2 years ago. Andrew, I haven't seen you in forever. How's married life? The question caught me off guard. It's complicated right now. She must have seen something in my face because her expression shifted. Want to talk about it? I've got time. We sat down, and I found myself telling her the whole story. Not for sympathy, but because I needed to hear how it sounded out loud to someone uninvolved. When I finished, Patricia shook her head. That's manipulative. I'm sorry, but your wife's friends sound toxic. They are. But Claire chose to listen to them. True. But you know what strikes me? Most people would have blown up, yelled, demanded answers, made it a huge fight. You did something smarter. You held up a mirror. I hadn't thought of it that way. You showed her exactly what she was doing by experiencing it herself, Patricia continued. That takes serious self-control. But Andrew, what happens now? Do you actually want to save the marriage? I don't know yet. Some days I think yes. Other days I think she broke something that can't be fixed. That's fair. Just make sure whatever you decide, it's because of what you want, not because you're trying to teach her a lesson. The word stuck with me after we parted ways. Was I still teaching a lesson? Or was I genuinely trying to figure out if our marriage could survive? Day 20, Saturday afternoon, I called Claire. I'm coming by the house. We need to talk. Really? When? 2 hours. Be ready to have a real conversation. I'll be here. Thank you. I arrived at the house. Claire looked hopeful, but scared. We sat on opposite ends of the couch. I talked to your friends yesterday, I said. She winced. I'm so sorry. Let me finish. I need to understand something. Why did you let them convince you to do this? I felt invisible. I felt like we were going through motions. So you decided to make yourself more invisible by removing all affection from our marriage. It sounds insane when you say it like that. It was insane. But I need to know, was it just them, or were you really that unhappy? Claire took a breath. I was unsettled. Not unhappy with you. Unhappy with myself. I felt like I lost myself in being a wife. And instead of talking to me about that, you tested me. Yes. I leaned forward. Here's my truth. I did get complacent. We both did. We stopped dating each other. We stopped trying. But when you felt that way, you should have told me. Not conducted an experiment to see if I'd notice. I know. I was afraid. Afraid of what? Afraid that if I told you I needed more, you'd think I was needy. That you'd be disappointed in me. So instead you made me feel like a stranger in my own marriage. You think that's better? What do you want me to say? Her voice rose. I've apologized. I've cut them off. I've begged you to come home. I don't want apologies. I want to understand if you're capable of being honest with me instead of playing games. I am. I swear I am. Prove it. Right now. Tell me something you've been afraid to tell me. She paused for a long time. I'm afraid you'll never trust me again. I'm afraid I destroyed something that can't be fixed. At least that's honest. I laid out what needed to happen. Here's what needs to happen if we're going to fix this. Marriage counseling. Non-negotiable, starting immediately. Complete transparency about feelings. No more hiding behind experiments. Those 3 friends. Cut off permanently, not just temporarily. Time. I'm not moving back in immediately. And rebuild. We date again. We relearn each other. We earn back trust. How long will you stay at the hotel? As long as it takes for me to believe you understand why this was wrong. What if you never believe it? Then we'll know the experiment really did show us what we had, and that it wasn't strong enough to survive betrayal. Week 4 began differently. Day 23, Tuesday, we had our first date. Coffee at Zeitgeist Coffee in Jackson Place. It was awkward at first, like 2 strangers. Tell me something I don't know about you, I said. I've been taking a pottery class. Started 3 months ago. Why didn't you tell me? I don't know. I guess I felt like I needed something just for me. I would have supported that. You know that, right? She teared up. I do now. Day 25, Thursday, we had dinner at the Walrus and the Carpenter in Ballard. The conversation came more easily. We laughed for the first time since the experiment started. I really did cut them off, you know. All 3, Claire said. I know. Your mom told me. You talked to my mom? I called her back. She's worried about both of us. She told me I was an idiot. She's not wrong. Claire laughed despite herself. She said you were too good for me. She's not wrong about that either. Day 27, Saturday, we walked through Olympic Sculpture Park. We held hands for the first time since the experiment began. Can I ask you something? Claire said. Always. When did you know you'd give me another chance? I'm still deciding. Every day I'm deciding. She nodded. She understood. We stopped at a sculpture, an enormous red metal structure that twisted toward the sky. Claire tilted her head, studying it. What do you think it means? She asked. I think it means whatever we need it to mean. That's a cop-out answer. But she was smiling. Okay, I think it's about tension. See how it's pulling in different directions, but still holding together? That's hard. That takes engineering. Intention. Claire looked at me. Like us. Like us, I agreed. A jogger passed by with a dog. and the dog stopped to sniff Claire's shoes. She bent down to pet it, laughing when it licked her hand. The owner apologized and pulled the dog along. When Claire stood back up, her eyes were wet. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Nothing's wrong. I just realized this is the first time in weeks I've felt normal. Like myself. Like us." "Good normal or bad normal?" "Good. Really good." We walked in silence for a while, hands still linked. The sun was setting over Puget Sound, painting everything gold and pink. "Andrew, thank you for not giving up completely." "I haven't given up, but I haven't fully come back either." "I know. I'm not asking you to. I'm just grateful you're trying." Day 30, Tuesday, was our first counseling session together. The therapist asked Claire, "What did you learn from this experience?" That trust is fragile. That marriage isn't something you experiment with. That the people who love you most deserve your honesty, not your tests. The therapist turned to me. "What did you learn?" "That I can't take love for granted. That showing up every day matters. And that some boundaries, once crossed, change everything. But they don't have to end everything." The therapist, Dr. Sullivan, nodded. "Andrew, you've been very calm and measured throughout this process. But I want to ask directly, are you angry?" The question surprised me. "Yes." "Tell Claire what you're angry about." I looked at Claire, really looked at her. "I'm angry that you didn't trust me enough to be honest. I'm angry that you let people who don't know us, who don't know what we built together, convince you to tear it down. I'm angry that instead of one hard conversation, you chose 30 days of dishonesty." Claire was crying, but Dr. Sullivan gestured for me to continue. "But mostly I'm angry at myself. Because part of me knows I got lazy. I stopped trying. I stopped seeing you. And maybe if I hadn't, you wouldn't have felt the need to test me." "That doesn't excuse what she did," Dr. Sullivan said. "No, but it explains how we got here." Dr. Sullivan looked between us. "This is the first honest conversation you've had about the real issues. Not the experiment. The real problems underneath. Can you both commit to this level of honesty moving forward?" We both said yes. "Good, because that's the only way this works. Claire, you betrayed his trust. Andrew, you emotionally withdrew even before the experiment started. You both have work to do." It was the first time someone had laid it out that clearly. We'd both failed each other. The difference was how we'd chosen to handle it. 2 weeks later, day 45, I decided to move back home. Not because Claire begged, but because she showed change. She'd started individual therapy. She'd been completely transparent about her feelings. She'd rebuilt my trust through consistent honesty. I brought my suitcases back. "Welcome home," Claire said. "I'm not all the way back yet." "I know, but you're here. That's enough for now." We established new ground rules. Weekly check-ins about feelings and needs. No more sacrificing honesty for peacekeeping. No major decisions without consultation. Friends were welcome, but only after I met and approved them. Our marriage was the priority, not social experiments. That first night back felt strange. We moved around each other carefully, like dancers learning new choreography. "Which side of the bed?" Claire asked. "Same as always," I said. "Unless you want to switch." "No, same is good." We got ready for bed in silence. Not the cold silence of the experiment, but something tentative, uncertain. When we lay down, there was space between us. Claire was on her side, I was on mine. "Can I tell you something?" she said into the darkness. "Always. Every night you were gone, I slept on your side of the bed, just to feel closer to you." I didn't say anything for a moment. Then I reached across the space and took her hand. "I'm here now," I said. "Are you really?" "All the way here." "I'm working on it." She squeezed my hand. "That's enough." We fell asleep holding hands across the space between us. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. And that was more than we'd had in a long time. 6 months later, spring arrived. Claire and I were walking through Pike Place Market, holding hands. We stopped at a flower stall, and I bought her peonies. Her favorite. "You remembered," she said. "I always remembered. I just stopped showing it." We grabbed lunch at Piroshki and sat outside, eating in comfortable silence. "Do you ever think about those 30 days?" Claire asked. "Sometimes." "Do you forgive me?" "I'm working on it. But I don't forget." "Good. I don't want you to forget. I need to remember what I almost lost." We saw Melissa across the market. She saw us too and looked away quickly. "Should we say hi?" Claire asked. "Do you want to?" "No, I really don't." We walked past without acknowledging her. I squeezed Claire's hand. People talk about marriage like it's a contract you sign once and forget about. But it's not. It's a choice you make every single day. Claire learned that the hard way. She chose to test our marriage instead of trusting it. And she almost lost everything. I learned something too. I learned that showing up isn't the same as being present. That love requires more than just existing in the same space. The experiment did teach us something. Just not what our friends intended. It taught us that marriage without trust is just two people sharing space. And roommates can always move out. But partners? Partners rebuild. Partners grow. Partners choose each other every single day. We're choosing each other now. Not because we have to, because we want to. That evening, we stood at Cary Park, overlooking the Seattle skyline. Claire leaned into me. I wrapped my arm around her. The city lights came on as the sun set. "Thank you for not giving up on us," she said. "Thank you for learning what us really means." And that's the difference between a marriage and an experiment. Experiments end. Marriage, real marriage, evolves. Dear listeners, that's our ending. If it resonated, subscribe to support the channel. See you next time.